All right, so we're going to start at the beginning, and what I'm going to tell you is at the end I'll tell you how many times I've done this, but this isn't going to go perfectly, guys. We all know that, okay? But we're going to do the best we can, and it should sort of simulate what's going to happen when you get into the system and have to do the exact same thing, right? Because we're all starting from the same point where we have to start learning, okay? So we will get through it. We have people in here in the room that are gonna help if we need them. And we're gonna try to make it a little fun, but it's gonna also feel like overload, okay? So if we get to overload, we're gonna try to take a break if we need to, just get a refresh and come back at it, okay? So where we're starting at is, like Greg said, once you do put your password in and your username and you've got yourself into the system, this is the landing page that you're going to start on. Okay, we'll get used to seeing this. If anyone ever ran reports, like to see how many NCRs you've written and stuff like that, that is over here in this search and track, is where you're going to find those kind of reports. Feedbacks, how many auditors actually use the feedback system? You did, but as an auditor or more as CB? Yeah, CBs we use them, but as auditors we don't use them a lot. But when you go to your customers and you're saying, hey, do you have any feedback? Have you received any? The middle section is where you can have your customers go and show us what they've had, okay? But like Greg said, we're gonna live in this manage audit section. So all you do is you go over to that section and you just click on it. And then it tells you you've been thrown out. That's even better. Like I said, we were going to have fun. It's not going to go perfect. It's probably because it sat there for too long. It timed me out. Okay, I had it on too long. It timed me out. So now we're into the system, and we are going to start with. There's two ways that things usually start. Either we get a new request for a customer and we sign a contract and we want to get going and service them, or somebody tells us, hey, I want to transfer to you. Either way, we've got a contract, right? So we're going to talk about how you initiate the transfer. Because right now in current OASIS, we really can't do anything until we do that special audit and move them over so that we can start doing the audit documents. So we're going to go through what we do for a transfer. Okay, so if we want to transfer, we typically know the name of the customer that we want to transfer. I'm going to pray to goodness that I can go in here and type demo, and I'm just going to do a search. So filter in the name, I start typing in demo, just part of it, and I'm going to hit search. Okay, when I search, hang on, I needed to do a F11, right? Was what we talked about that would help make it full screen. Okay, is that a little bit better? Now you can see it, okay? So as I do that, I get a demonstration supplier 12 and 13. So I'm just gonna pick one of these guys for the matter of us doing this exercise, and we're gonna try to transfer them from whatever CB they're at to my CB. All right, so how about we just do unlucky number 13, do you think? Yeah, let's go for unlucky 13. Okay, so I clicked on them. I just clicked in the box and it did that. You can also click on them right there, which is going to tell me stuff about them. But I don't want to do that because what I want to do is just check the box and I want to go up and say create or transfer a supplier, okay, with a plus sign. So that plus sign is when you want to do something new. So we're going to click on that. We're going to wait. That's like what we're used to, right? Okay. So it wants to do a duplicate check. So I'm going to type in demo.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, Jeff.
Currently, this stuff is done by the CB and it just shows up in my OASIS list.
Yes.
Is that still going to happen that way, or we have to
Yes.
load them?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm starting at the beginning of what's done by the CB, and then we will get to, after we set up an audit, we'll get into the auditor actually doing an audit. Okay. All right, so unlucky 13 didn't work, so let's pick. Yeah, but see, I can't check a box. I already practiced on 13, so I got to pick a different number. So I'm going to pick on number 7, and then we're just going to hit transfer request. Okay. All right, once we do that, the date here is important to notice, because what happens is whatever date that is here, that is the first date that you will be able to do anything in the new Oasis for this customer. So if I'm already here and I want to go ahead, I want to do this, transfer them, get them into my list so I can set up an audit, I want to put that date as today's date. If I don't put it as today's date and I put it out in the future, that's when I'm going to be able to do stuff. Okay, so this is one of those critical things. So I'm going to go and I'm going to change it to today's date of the 20th. Okay, you can also just type it in there if you don't want to use the little calendar icon, you know, handy dandy thing. You can also type it in. Rhonda, please come to the mic. Sorry, hun. You guys might want to rewatch this and remember what the questions are too.
So is this process after we've gotten the feedback from the current CB?
It can be done concurrently. There is no, because you just can't do the audit, right? Until you've gotten the okay from the CB. But can you go ahead and set up your audit? We do now. We go ahead and schedule our audit and get that request going and get that information at the same time. So there should be no reason you can't do it concurrently still. Okay. All right. Recipients, this is just if there's somebody else that you want to know about it. I don't know, maybe you have an Oasis administrator in your CB that you want to also have them know about this. Maybe you wanted the customer to know that you've done it. I don't know. You could come up with 50 million different people you might want to know. You can enter somebody's email address in here. If you don't want to enter anybody in, you don't have to enter anybody in either. Okay, it's just if there's somebody you need to notify. So this is the information of the supplier that we're going to do. And you can check their address, make sure you got the right person and all of that stuff, make sure everything's good. Once you're sure you're good, you've got the date in and any email recipients that you might want, you're going to hit the send transfer request. Okay. It's going to say, hey, you know, do you want to continue, just to make sure, because that's pretty, you know, you're moving them over to you in Oasis. Make sure you, just in case you went, oh crap, I didn't grab the right person, you hit the okay. This organization is now transferred to where you could go and set up an audit. Okay, in Oasis. Now, it doesn't mean we have the certificate. It doesn't mean we're the CB of record. It just means in the background of Oasis, we can now go in and schedule the audit, put the audit records in, and do what we need to do. Okay, they won't publicly move over to us until we issue that certificate. Okay, just like currently. Right? Okay, so that's it with this. So that's done. Now, we could need to add a new customer. We had a good month, sales did good. We got a transfer, now we got a sale. We're gonna go ahead and go in here and set up Oasis. This is somebody brand new to Oasis and not currently in there. So when this is the case, we're going to go kind of through the same process. We're gonna do create or transfer a CB. That good old plus button up on top again. All right, then it asks for the supplier name. And let's call this STL Demo. How about that? We're gonna name them. And it went ahead, it did the search, it found no records. No records found. So since there's no records found, I can create the supplier. Okay, so now I need to go ahead and do the full name, STL Demo, and do add and close. When you click add and close, this is like a pop-up. Add and close will close this pop-up. Okay. Now it wants to know which sector we're in. And this is going to be the Americas. And we're going to finish the selection. Okay, so now we've set up this supplier, which, hang on, I'm going to write down the name before I forget it. That wouldn't be so good. Okay, entity status. So now we're just going to start filling in all the data about this supplier so that we get them into the database with everything that we need to know. Entity status we would set to active. Understand that they're not certified yet, but they're going to be active in OASIS. We're going to actively be working on them, so we want to change that to active. OIN number, that will be assigned by the system, and if I'm clicking on it, you can't tell that, but I'm clicking on it and nothing happens. It's kind of a little bit of a grayed field. You can see that there's not the black line around it, border, so that's not a field that we're filling in. The system will identify it. Within the Intact system, they also have their own unique number they give it, which is what the Intact Platform ID will be, okay? The organization's name, I wanted it to be demo, so I've got it there. Short name, I don't know, if you have some nickname or something that the organization goes by or something you want to put in, you can put in there. If there's a department or division, so if it's only the, I don't know, Clayton division, right, because we're in Clayton, so we could have the Clayton division, you could type that in here. I'm going to leave it blank. The address, well, let's just go 123 Clayton Road. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the address name, so we might want to call it corporate office. Street, 123 Clayton Road. And there's no judgment on typing. Country, United States. So this is something, I don't know about you, but when these pop up and I go United States, dang it, we're all the way at the bottom, right? You can start typing here and it will bring it up and go down to that section, which makes it a little bit better. I wasn't doing that for a long time, and Greg kept telling me, start typing in that box. I'm like, okay, all right. So that helps to get you there a little bit faster. Postal code, I don't know, we're 630 something here. We'll go with that. City is Clayton. State of Missouri. Again, we can do the little bit of start typing and select. Okay. Now it has contact information. So this is the contact. This is kind of the overall top level contact. So who should we make that? What do you think? Mickey Mouse. All right, Mickey Mouse it is. I can't wait till the other countries see this. Contact data. Oops, it didn't go, sorry. It didn't like Mickey Mouse. Oh, yeah, you're right, sorry. Phone. Contact data, 314-999-9999. And that'll be our default. Okay. And then we can click done. Now, if you want to add an email, if you want to add another phone number, whatever, you can go back to the plus button and you can add more contact information. Okay. The interesting thing is the contact information is never a name, which is what I keep thinking contact information would be. So think of it if the organization has a 1-800 number or the central number you call. That's more the information that would go in here rather than in individuals, okay? We will identify individuals at other places, but it's not here. This is kind of just more that general mailbox. Okay. All right, so we have the mailbox. Now this is where I always get confused of do you hit save and close or save and open? So usually for me right now, it's a 50-50 shot. Okay. Any votes? Open. Okay. Save and open. Let's see what happens. So I'm right back to where I was. Okay. So I can go in, I can change information on them, is kind of where I am. So at this point, I think we'd hit save and close. No? We got to go across the top. So we're not going to save, we're going to add an address for that contact. Wait. I already.
If it's a single site, you were done.
Yeah, for a single site, it's done.
Additional sites to this supplier, you'd go up to that, right?
That's here. Yeah, yeah. For this, we're done. That's why I was getting confused. If you want additional sites, it's up here, but we're not there yet. Here, I would just do save and close, honestly, because we've entered the information. I guess there's over here, you can go to geodata and stuff like that, not stuff that you need to enter. So I kind of go to what I minimally have to get in the system right now rather than maximum. Okay. All right, so we're going to save and close. Okay, we're not going to save and close. Just go back to here. I'm following Greg's directions. They're not working. All right, we're going to just do this again. We're just going to make this I don't believe it is sensitive to that, but we can check. It's no, lost everything. This is good practice, this repetition, you see it twice. Okay, this time we're going to do save and close. Okay, so now we have them up here. We can at least see them now, so that's a good start, right? All right, so now we're going to go to step 2, details. The system honestly is not working right at the moment. It's like acting like it wants me to create supplier again.
Now that it's down there, go ahead and try back the supplier. In the main menu, go up to your supplier search.
That's what I did.
All right, I'm sorry, never mind. Now,
They're there.
double-click on it.
Yep. Okay. So now we're back to where we were. So when it doesn't work, go back out and come back in. That's our lesson. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way across this top here. Okay. Adding information about this supplier. First one is contacts. So we're going to add a new contact. So the relationship type is basically, who is this? Is it a contact person? Is it your contact person, or is it just somebody else at the company and we want to go ahead and get their name in here also? Typically, we're probably going to have at least the contact. I don't know, maybe there's an alternate. And then you click the box for if they are the contact person, because when you start adding other people, you can switch who's the contact people. Okay. Then we're going to hit the continue button. Yes.
Is the contact person akin to an Oasis Now where you see management rep or?
I would say so. Yeah. All right. So now we're in here and we're going to have the contact person's information. So title, usually what? Quality manager? Prefix. Last name. First name, Jane. I might have used that already. That's why it popped up nicely. No suffix. Department, division, if there is one, fill it in. Address, name. Yep. I keep wanting to go to court address. So I'm just going to copy that down here to the street. Country. Okay, so since this person happens to be at the, there's, single-sided, it's at the corporate office, the address is going to be the same. It's going to feel a little repetitive, but it could be that they have 4 different places and, or maybe we're just certifying this site, but the main contact person is the corporate person who lives someplace else. So we would need a different address. So that's why there's the 2 different ones. Okay. And then there's contact info at the bottom where we can add information for this person. So if we want to add their mobile call, so now we put in what the main corporate number was previously. Now we're going to put in what the individual's phone number is. Okay. All right, so we're going to hit the done. And I'm going to do save and closed this time because we're not going to try the save and open again. Okay, so now we've created a contact person at the company. We get the cute little business card looking thing with their information on it. So if we had more contact people and we wanted to add more, we just go back here to this plus new and keep adding as many as you do or don't want to. Okay, but you got to have one. Then if you had additional sites, you would come in here and go ahead and enter those addresses. So for the sake of at least doing it, let's go ahead and add one so we can see what it looks like going through that process. So we're going to add one more. And this entity status would also be active just like the other one is, because we want to go ahead and start getting the audits done. Organization name, we're going to stay with STL Demo. Okay. Division name, maybe this division name is the, let's say the Brentwood location, Brentwood division. Okay. The address for it, gosh, I'm never going to remember that, am I? Brentwood. We'll call it STL Demo Brentwood is the location name. They are going to be on 1234 Main Street. And they're going to also be in the United States. They're going to be in Brentwood and also in Missouri. Okay. Then we can enter who's the contact person at that site. If there's a site contact person, we could go down here and enter that information. Okay. All right, so we've got that completed, so we're going to save and close it. Okay, so now we've set up the entity. We have taken care of who the contact people are. We've added a site. Now we're going to identify what standard it is they're certified to. So we're going to, again, go to the plus new. The year, just leave the year at whatever this year is. They have to have a year within the in-tax system. So just let it default to the current year that comes up. It's fine. It doesn't really impact us or do anything, but they have to have a date in the in-tax system for when it starts. So we're just going to leave it. It populates, let it go. We'll pick up the standard. Now, you might have noticed up in the very, very top right-hand corner, it says test. Okay, I'm in the test system. I'm not in the live system. So with being in the test system and then testing, migrating the data and everything, we had to have all standards listed so that they can test the data migration. After we get that all working and the data migration is completed and we're in the live system, all of these obsolete standards won't be listed anymore. Okay, so we know they're there. We had to have them there for a reason right now, but they will go away. Okay, so we're just going to pick 9100D for ease, and I'm going to hit save. I chose to hit save for a reason, and that's because I want to add another standard. So can I do that? I don't know. We're going to try. We're going to give them 9120 also. And I'm going to save that. We're going to see what happens. Entry date, I usually just give it today's date. Today's the date. I'm entering it into the system. Don't think of it as the actual date with the standard or the revision or anything that. Just when are they going to start this process with this revision of the standard? Okay, so we'll pick today. I'm now going to hit save and close because I'm interested to see what happens. So when I did that and just hit save and went in and changed it, it just kept my latest revision. So the 9100 is gone. Okay, so if you want two standards, because maybe it's an integrated audit, you have to come back here and hit new again. And now I can go in and I can pick the 9100 again and go ahead and put in today's date and hit save and close. And what you'll see now is it shows two standards. Okay, so The thing is to remember, you have to hit the plus every time you want to add a standard to it. You can't just go and change, save it and then add another one. You have to come back out, go to plus to add a second standard. Okay? For ease of what we're doing, I'm going to go in and edit this, and I'm going to delete it so that we just have one standard just to keep it easy. But if you went in and their intent originally was to go with both and then they changed their mind, this is where you can go in and go back and change and remove that other standard. Okay? So we're going to delete it. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yep. Okay, so we're back to just 9100. All right, now we go to users. We're going to add a new user. This is where you get into who is your supplier admin, who are your supplier reps. We're used to that, having to populate our forms all over the place with these names. So this is where the CB goes in and identifies who is the supplier admin, who is the supplier rep. A lot of times it's the same person, right? But it can be different people. So in this case, I'm going to select both. I'm going to hit, add and close, right? I'm going to add and close. It then pops up the next one and says, okay, what's their name? What's their name? Let's go with John Doe this time. Why not? Okay. Email. Boy, you can see all of my personal information is popping up all over the place here. That's okay. Email is, I don't know, abc@gmail.com. So the thing in the test system, no emails can be sent, so don't worry with whatever we're making up. If yours is abc.gmail, you're okay. It's not really coming. Make up another phone number. We're getting good at those. Okay, and I'm going to hit save and close. So I've now set up John Doe. John Doe is the supplier admin and the Oasis rep. Okay. All right. The next thing you can do here, but we're not going to do it in this section because we're going to go someplace else to do it, is you can go here and go ahead and start setting up that audit that we talked about. That's why you want to put today's date so that you can go ahead and start doing the audit. We're not going to do it here. We're going to go to the add audit section instead. But you can always come here. There's two places you can start the process. This is one place, but there's a second place also. Okay. Certification, you're not going to have anything there right now because they're not certified yet, right? Because we haven't issued a cert. So we're not going to have anything yet. And then their certificates would also be here. Okay, but there's no certificates at this point because they're not certified yet. Okay. All right, so that is in essence the process for setting up a new supplier and entering in their data in Oasis. Okay. All right. So this is when we were supposed to have our first Q&A session. So any questions so far? Holy mackerel. It's that easy, right? You go to the mic. Did you go to the mic? Okay. Thanks, April.
Instead of the CB setting it up, can the client themselves go in and set themselves up?
No, I don't think so. Not that I know of. Yeah. So it's just like the existing one. You have to do the initial setup, but then they can go in and make changes. Perfect. Okay.
Under contacts, member, is that if you're setting up an additional supplier representative for them?
Under contacts, yes, you can set up additional ones there.
Okay. And in future revisions with this, will there be greater efficiencies built in automating some of all those excessive clicks?
No, I don't think so.
The only issue of all one is someone that's their being very
There will be improvements coming, exactly what they are, not sure. There's a whole entire team that's being set up that will consider all of the inputs from all of the stakeholders for what the improvements are, and we will prioritize those and work them. So there will be improvements coming, and we already have that team set up and the first meeting scheduled. So that is part of the process with the new Oasis. Yes, ma'am.
Is the, what you just walked through to the CB's functionality only, or will auditors have functionality to do what you just did?
CB only.
Okay, and then second follow-up question, are you going to cover later how to change contact information when it's changed within the supplier, or are we not going to cover that?
You just come right back here where we are. So you would just go under Manage Supplier Administration. I would come back to typing in my STL demo. I don't think I have a space. I don't remember. I'm going to
Just
select.
add your new person and then obsolete your old person.
I'm going to go there. It won't let me click. Yeah. Click. You can go in. Here's your contacts and go in and add a new and trash the one that's there.
Okay, perfect.
That probably wasn't the nicest word to use, but it was a trash can and it's the word that came to mind. Yes, sir.
Currently, the client can go in and make those modifications themselves. You are under the CB portal. Does that mean the CB has to make these changes now?
No, so my rights that I'm in here as, these are the rights I have for
Okay.
these different ones. The organization will have their own separate ones and they can go in and change their information just like they currently can. Theirs will look different, just like they do now. But I don't have those rights to demonstrate. Do that one piece I missed. Let me see if I can still get back there and demonstrate. Right here, do you know how right now we send the email to the suppliers saying you need to accept to get yourself into Oasis? Back here under user, so I'm back here under where we identified the users. And once I put John Doe in here, I can hit this button of issue web access. And when I hit that button, that is what is going to send that email to them to go in and register and do everything so that then they have access. Okay, so that's under the user. When you say who the user are, you got to send your invite as we think of it currently. Okay, it asks, make sure you want to. Yes, we want to. Okay, so and it asks you select text template. Is it for an individual user or a user to an organization? Usually is what we're going to be clicking, and then we hit finish. Now that email will be sent to them. Okay. So that's the part we'll want to remember to do. We'll probably